Welcome, friends and family. Super excited to be here with you again this day. We want to motivate with Elevate. And really, we're wanting to kind of teach motivation, right? And motivation, Zig Ziglar said, motivation's like a shower. You need it every day. And we need some motivation in our day every day. And one of the best ways, when I think about motivate, what do I think of? Motive to action. How to move through the world in a better way, a way that's not draining, a way that's not bringing you down, but a way that's increasing you. And as the day goes through, you're just feeling better and better. You're getting more and more motivated. And I know that's what we all want. We don't want to go through the world just sick and tired of being sick and tired. Now, there'll be times in life when we have to, but we want to go through life with motivation, motive to action. And today we are talking about a drop of honey and how that with people, when we learn how to just kind of bring that drop of honey versus gall or vinegar, that we get more from people.
Right.
So today, Casey and I are here to talk to you a little bit about that. And Casey, how you doing today, brother?
Feeling well.
What are you doing besides looking good?
Just trying to be good. That's
Yeah.
all I can say.
Well, that should be pretty easy for a fella like you.
Yeah, most certainly. I had a great weekend and got to enjoy some. I think our first winter snow.
Yeah.
We had a few dustings, but we had a decent snow this weekend.
Yeah.
So hope everybody stayed safe.
Yep.
If you had to do any traveling around in that, and I know in some areas there's still quite a bit of snow hanging around, so hope you're staying safe. But yes, using a drop of honey, and we all know that honey is a sweetener, right? It's very attractive to well, I was going to say flies, but I don't know what that means about people, but it's very attractive to things that are looking at that. It's nourishment, right? It's a desired substance. And the concept of this is just like anything. You can I believe I've heard it said you can catch more flies with sugar on a stick than you can with vinegar or something like that. Is kind of the phrase that I've heard. Can't think of it exactly, but same concept.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. So in this chapter, he talks about an Aesop fable, and he talks about and this is something I remember when I was a child. I just remember seeing the pictures. It was like a book that we had that we read through, and it talked about like the sun and the wind had a discussion one day. They met and they're like, "You see that kid down there? I bet I could get him to take his jacket off." And so the two made a wager who could get the one off, and the sun said, "Well, wind, you go first." And so I just remember seeing, a little kid down there on and it kind of getting cloudy and him having a jacket on, and the wind started to blow, and he didn't take his jacket off. In fact, if anything, he kind of like bundled it up a little bit. So the wind he come brushing through just and really started to pour that wind down on that kid. And instead of taking the jacket off, he just bundled it up tighter and tighter and tighter until he was almost kind of running through with his jacket tightened up. And so the son just kind of chuckles. He said, "Now is it my turn?" And the wind's like, "Yeah, you'll never be able to get this kid to take his jacket off." And so the sun comes up, and you could just kind of see the change of the cloudy gray color to a little bit sunnier, and in San Diego, kind of 65 degrees, nice warm sun. And it just felt so right that the kid unbuttoned his jacket, took it off, and was just the world was right. And so the Aesop fable, the kind of the story behind it is sometimes we can get what we want when we're more gentle about it, when we use the honey factor, when we're just making things the right atmosphere and the right culture and everything just kind of being right. So now we're not nervous, we're not uptight, we can kind of let our jacket off and let our guard down. Where if you come at me real strong and just full of wind, I might just get more tightened and I might just be more resistant to whatever you're trying to bring to me.
Most certainly. And that's a great lesson for leadership. It's a great lesson for just everyday interaction, whether it's professional or personal interaction. I think of, well, you and I have been working now for about 4 years together.
Yeah.
This year will be 4 years.
Yeah.
And
And you were my coach in tennis for several years
Yeah.
before that. So we've
Yeah.
known each other for a long time.
Yeah.
But a coaching and a working relationship for, together working here 4 years, coaching with you. I used to go up to Crossville and you'd teach me how to serve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember when I first started working here, I remember us having talks and you saying, you're completely different in the work environment than what I thought,
Yeah.
was going to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
Which is true about personality things. But what I was getting to with that is there's been a lot of growth between you and I when it comes to interacting with each other, and it took us a while. I would say it took us better part of 2 years or so to kind of get that somewhat kind of figured out. And I think it's the same with just about anything, right? I mean, there's effort that goes into that, um, but I know that I'm that way. If you come at me full bore, then I'm going to lock up and put that wall up immediately. I mean, it's just I don't know if it's a defense mechanism or what, but it's just I'm just going to
Yeah.
Right. You're not going to prove you're tougher than me by acting tougher than me.
Right.
But hopefully I can kind of come to my senses,
One
pretty
thing that
quick.
you and I have done is we've said sometimes let's go for a walk.
Mhm.
And you said not too long ago, sometimes I don't know if I like these or not,
Yeah.
because you never know what's coming. But
Yeah.
the thing is that there is a right way to approach situations that need to be approached. And, one thing I learned about you very quickly, so when I said you're a little different than what I anticipated was I seen you on the tennis court where you were great and man, you just had fun out there and you spanked us all. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't even contest. A lot of times watching you play or playing with you was the only way you won. So, but in work, you took it seriously. And I didn't know, I'd only seen you we kind of cut up is
Right.
what we had. But in work, man, you took your work seriously. Like you took it to another level. And I didn't know to anticipate that, how quickly you wanted to get serious about whatever position you were in. And so when I said that, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to take you at first because I was like, man, we've got what you're 33, I'm 48, so there's quite a bit of an age difference there. Um, and on top of that, you didn't come in and play. You came in and you wanted to really grow wherever you were at. So I always appreciated that. But yes, we have learned that we both have a similar response that if we're coming right at each other, our guard can go up real quick. But as we've gotten to know each other and we've realized, yes, it's serious, but there's the right approach, the right timing, how we go about those things. And one thing that I've always admired about you too, Casey, is, and your last name's Cope. And I really do think you have great coping skills. Like, I really do think that in this day and age, especially when you're working with right now 2 brand new agents, never been in this profession before, and you took a lady last year that had never been in it and helped her, earn nearly over 100,000 her first year, had over 27 or 28 sales her first year.
28. Yep.
And now you've got 2 new group coming in, and man, that's nerve-wracking for them. They've never done this, and now they're looking at it full time. So on that team side, they really need somebody that can help them cope through that process of starting here, not knowing anything, to getting there. And so, if you came full bore on them, they'd run, right? They'd leave. But you've got to really kind of nurture them through that process, and you do a great job of that. Can you talk to me a little bit how you use honey to do that?
Yeah, that's a great concept with that, and a kind of a different spin on kind of where I thought we was headed. So I like it. With that, it's a lot of encouragement that comes with that. It's a lot of building up. I see that you have the skills to do this. I see that, that, and it's having the patience for it is the big thing, and knowing and understanding um, that it takes time to get to the level that we're looking to get, but we're looking to speed that up, right? So you take Miss Sierra, who you were speaking of there, that had 28 deals. The average real estate agent in Tennessee is going to do what, 4 deals a year? So she got 4 years of experience, 4+ years of experience, and 4 deals a year. That'd be 6 years of experience in 1 year.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Of negotiations and things like that. So it is a fast track. And it's a lot of encouragement. And listen, it does wear on me. I'll be honest with you, because I'm not naturally a praise giving person. I had to be very conscious about that. because I grew up in a world of high expectations. So I have those same expectations for the people I'm around. And, you know, a lot of it is great.
Mm.
You did the minimum.
Yeah, you did your job. Well done.
What do you want? You want a
Yeah, yeah,
cookie? Like what, but at the end of the day, there has to be the celebration of the small wins. And actually, when I was doing my master's, I did a paper on celebrating the small wins to get to the big win, which at the time had not read these books that we've been through. It was just to me that was always a concept that just came very natural to me that, it's not enough to just celebrate when you hit the big goal
right.
because you're gonna wind up beating yourself up along the way because there's no positivity, through that. And it could be very negative, right? Like it's I'm never going to get there. That
Mhm.
goal never seems to get closer because you don't have any milestones to that. So it's the big win. So like when the agent comes in, we try to set a goal for, getting this amount of contacts, and then we hit those contacts, we celebrate that.
Yeah.
That may not be the full contacts that they're building up to. The first week it may be, let's talk to 20 people,
Mhm. Mhm.
where we need to be really at 80 to 100 a week,
Right.
but the first week maybe let's get 20,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then we'll celebrate
So
that.
you dial it back a little bit so you can help them get a win a little
Right.
quicker
Right.
and then build them to that
And
level.
then let's set
Smart.
an appointment. So, we, like you said, we have two up there now. One training in a different area, the other one
Mhm.
coming into the full program. But the one coming into the full program, it was, let's see, he started on the second, January
Mhm.
2nd.
Mhm.
Um, and I think I know he did two showings last week, right? So what, 4 or 5 days in,
And that's snow on the
he's
ground and everything, right?
scheduling
Yeah.
appointments,
Yeah.
and going out on showings. So I mean, those are small wins that we can set up and try to move that. So the honey in that situation has just been encouraging. Hey, you got this. You know how to
Mhm.
do this. You got it.
Mhm.
And two, it's uh, that constant reminder you got people around you.
Mhm.
You don't have to be alone. You can call me.
Mhm.
I got a text yesterday morning at like 10:30. Hey, you got time to kind of discuss something? Because I'm kind of confused, So, um, I got it about 15 minutes after he sent it, I guess. Called him up. We talked through whatever he
Yeah.
had to have, and
Yeah.
he went on his way. With that stuff. So it's also the availability
Yeah. Well,
with that
it's
too.
easy to say again, it's Saturday or Sunday probably.
Hmm.
It's 10:15. You may be getting your kids ready for church. You got a lot going on. And all of a sudden you're getting what could feel like bothered. And obviously you could be the wind and blow them off. Say,
Hmm.
man, let's talk tomorrow. Or you could be the sun and say, okay, I've got a few minutes here. Can I call you, whenever? And then all of a sudden you're building that rapport that makes them more comfortable
Hmm.
to become a great agent.
Yeah. So, in that situation, if you're responsible for training somebody, if you've got somebody new coming into the office, even if you're not responsible for training them, even if you're just around them
Yes.
and they're
Yes.
new,
Yep.
um, Miss Megan came in as our OA down there, and I'm not
Mhm.
directly responsible for training her and moving her up. But when I get the ability, I'll go down and say, "Hey, Miss Megan, how's your day
Mhm.
going?" And
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
with
That's
some
honey.
thoughts. And
That's honey.
there's a time or two where she's like just clearly lost, and
Hmm.
we'll have a great conversation, out of that. And
But
so
that's like you said, honey sweet. And
yes.
and it's being kind.
Yeah.
It's it's so kind, especially when you're starting something brand new. It's so nice when somebody's kind enough to kind of take a break from their busy day. And we probably look at you and think, man, he's busy. He's always doing something, but yet he's so kind to come down here and ask how I'm doing. And he's not even really in this position here. So
Hmm.
how cool is that? And that's definitely uh, what putting honey out there looks like.
Yeah, most
Yep.
certainly. I
Yep.
know. Friday when we was working from home with the snow coming in,
Hmm.
uh I think when I finally got kind of most of my stuff kind of wrapped up, it was right at 4 o'clock. And I started at 8 like normal,
Hmm.
and hit the ground running with it and did some calls. And like I said, I think I've got a couple listings maybe that come out of those calls, and
It's amazing.
some great coachings that happened throughout the day. And it was right at 4 o'clock or so when I was kind of getting that stuff to where I was working on little stuff.
Yeah,
You know,
you get to take
and
care of the things that you really need to feel like you need to take care of.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you know, and it was, and you know, I remember looking at Lacey and be like, so you see why sometimes I can't answer text messages or something, you know. But yeah, it's a busy day, and taking that time and that drop of honey with that, and again, that's in personal, that's in professional, and a great lesson for myself because I'm not naturally that person. I've really had to grow into that because I'm a task oriented person.
Yeah. You
So
like to get the
it's
job done. And that's why maybe tennis was a good sport for you
mhm.
because I always remember, this is another little nugget for anybody that's wanting to pay attention. If you want to become great at something, figure out the most important thing you can do and then do it. KC said when he started playing tennis, that's exactly what he did. And so that most important thing was the serve. He realized if he had a great serve, he could back off a lot of the players. Ended up going number 7 in the state, I think.
Mhm.
And still today, if we get on a court together, he can run that ball. He can serve and run that ball down the line like it ain't nobody's business. But the thing is that that's a one-person sport. And so really going into a team aspect and how to think past just being great yourself, which is kind of what real estate promotes.
Mhm.
Big I's and a bunch of little U's.
Mhm.
But to really learn how to, you developed yourself, you proved you could do that. Now, how can I help other people be great? And really taking time to pour into them. That's that's the big league.
Yeah, and I did tennis for the reason of it being an individual sport. I didn't want to have to rely on somebody else determining whether I made it to the playoffs or not.
Yeah.
That's 100% why I did it.
Yeah. So naturally driven, naturally skilled, kind of knows what it takes to win. And again, when you look at the team concept we're working, a lot of times the program is really looking for the qualified. There's a lot of people that won't have the natural drive or the grit to go to the level that you're coaching and training them, but you're never going to run them off with the bad attitude. You're
No.
always going to love them and encourage them. But there are certain standards, and those standards are tough enough that we don't want to make it any harder. We want to encourage them to be able to make it. And if they can't make it, we're still going to let them go with honey.
Yeah, most certainly.
Yeah.
100%. And I would end with saying, if you're looking at starting something, like I know my wife is getting ready to start her master's for library science.
Awesome, man.
To get to the certified teaching world and getting a teaching license to that. And actually, I think that starts this week, if I'm not mistaken. Her classes due this week or next week. One.
That's great.
So she's getting ready to start that. So if you're in that situation like she is, starting to go back to school, or maybe you're getting out of high school, getting ready to go into college or something like that for the first time, or maybe you just got your real estate license and you're looking at, where you're going to go and get started and that kind of thing, whatever it may be in your life. I think we're all pretty good at setting up an end goal. This is where I want to wind up, right? I want to, be able to afford that boat or this house, or I want to be able to do this or do that. I'm going to use this job or, whatever to get to there. Or, 10 years at this job, I want to be the supervisor or whatever. I think we're pretty good at setting up those things. I think where we lack is setting up those small wins, and then that could be a drop of honey to yourself.
Yeah.
That sweet little culture of that of, okay, well, if I want to get to here, what are some things that I need to accomplish to get to there, and set those up as small wins. And man, celebrate them when you get there. And some people might look at that and go, "Oh, well, you only talked to 20 people this week." That's not like I talk to 20 people a day. Yeah, I get it, but we're starting out, man. We're learning. We're growing.
Right.
We're going to push for 40 next week or 50 or whatever else.
We'll see where you're at a year from now, but in a year from now, you may be exhausted, but you'll look back and say, "Man, look how far I come."
Right.
But if you're not celebrated in between there and there,
you
may
depressing.
never make it to there.
Yeah.
And if you do, it may be a grind and not a joy.
Yeah, and you might wind up hating it by the time you get there.
Yeah.
That's true. So
Amen.
My challenge would be make a drop of honey to yourself.
Yes.
And put those little wins in between you and where you want to go, and make sure to celebrate them when you get there. And it don't have to be a big celebration either. Just a small little acknowledgement that you got it.
So remember, you are delicious.
Yes.
Have a great week. We'll see you later.